AM 590 WCAB Rutherfordton with FM translator service on W265DW at 100.9.
ABC News. I'm Dave Packer. A new era begins in Washington. In hours, President-elect Joe Biden to be sworn in as the 46th President of the United States. ABC's Aaron Katursky is at the U.S. Capitol's West Front.
Dave, the rain-drenched Capitol looks resplendent in bunting and flags, but the decorations do not hide the scars of the riot that occurred here 2 weeks ago. Security keeps the crowd away, and the normal exuberance around the inauguration is punctured by melancholy over loss, division, and violence. President-elect Biden understands what he's walking into when he takes his oath here a few hours from now. ABC's Karen Travers is at the White House.
Aaron, Joe Biden's inaugural address is built around a theme of unity, a familiar refrain from Biden's campaign message, his pledge to bring the nation together during an unprecedented time of crisis. After the inauguration festivities, Biden gets down to business. He'll sign 15 executive actions today here at the White House, including reversing the Trump administration's Muslim ban, moving to rejoin the Paris Climate Accord, and stopping construction of the border wall. Dave?
President Trump to become the first sitting president in a century and a half to not attend the inauguration of his successor. Trump saying goodbye to Washington in a farewell video message Tuesday. ABC's Mona Kosarabdi has more.
The president listing his economic and foreign policy achievements.
I am especially proud to be the first president in decades who has started no new wars.
Trump also referring to the next administration, but never mentioning Joe Biden by name.
We extend our best wishes, and we also want them to have luck, a very important word.
Meanwhile, Trump reportedly wants to create a third political party. The Wall Street Journal says Trump has discussed creating the Patriot Party to compete with the GOP.
The coronavirus pandemic has now taken the lives of over 400,000 Americans. President-elect Biden setting a goal of giving 100 million doses of the vaccine to Americans in the first 100 days. You're listening to ABC News.
They're pounding on the door. They're calling on the phone. It's the collectors. It's those credit cards you ran up trying to start your business. Now you found out that a DBA hurts the family and brings the pain home.
Do you remember hearing these commercials on radio? For over 40 years, Ray Reynolds has helped customers get millions in credit. It's no wonder why they call him the godfather of credit. Ray Reynolds will get your score above 720. Do you need $50,000 of corporate credit? By using corporate credit, you can finance a business, buy real estate and stock under a corporation. Take advantage of numerous tax write-offs only available to a corporation. Now you can meet Ray Reynolds on his daily webinar at 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. Monday through Friday, or call 800-490-4140 to find out more about his secrets to success in helping fix and improve your credit. Go to rayswebinar.com at 11 a.m. or 2 p.m. Monday through Friday and check out his free, very informative webinar, or call 800-490-4140 now. It's worth your time and you'll learn a lot. That's rayswebinar.com or call 800-490-4140.
The Justice Department has now filed its first conspiracy charge in connection with the riot at the Capitol. Thomas Caldwell, identified as a member of the group The Oath Keepers, allegedly got a Facebook message during the attack telling him to trap members of Congress in tunnels and, quote, turn on the gas. Facebook now says as of January 12th, it's removed over 18,000 Facebook profiles and over 27,000 Instagram accounts for breaking its rules on spreading the QAnon conspiracy theories. Missouri's last abortion clinic now says that an anti-abortion group is confusing people by spreading stories that it no longer performs abortions. ABC's Kenneth Moten has the story from St. Louis.
The group called Operation Rescue says the St. Louis Clinic of Planned Parenthood has not performed abortions for months. They say Missouri is now the first state not to have an abortion clinic. Clinic officials, however, say the group is trying to confuse women. They say doctors have performed 7 abortions in November, none last month, although the number of abortions performed in Missouri has plummeted over the last 2 years, from more than 1,300 in 2018 to only 39 last year. The pandemic and the opening of a clinic outside of St. Louis and Illinois have also driven down the number of women seeking abortions. Kent Martin, ABC News, St. Louis.
And history will be made at next month's Super Bowl. Sarah Thomas will become the first woman to officiate at a Super Bowl when she takes the field in Tampa. In 2015, Thomas was the first woman to officiate on the field of an NFL game. This is ABC News.
Ready to create your own income with your own home-based business where there's no such thing as getting laid off? If a billionaire entrepreneur spent 5 years and $20 million searching for the next big trend, wouldn't you want to know what he found? If you're serious about making money from home without having to leave home, then write this down. www.goherenext.com. You decide your income. Get the facts now. GoHereNext.com.
Dave Packer, ABC News.
You know, folks are saying once you've used a Massey Ferguson, you won't ever want another tractor. They're tough, versatile, and dependable. And now with the change of season special at NC Tractor and Farm Supply, you'll be wise to get your special deal. Our tractors have been running in families for generations. Ask about the Phil Sheehan Fall Special going on right now. NC Tractor, 299 Railroad Avenue, Rutherfordton. Call 288-0395.
We had our cold front swing on by last night. High pressure's building in. It should be a very fine day. Mostly sunny skies. It is breezy, but it is cool. The high temperature in the low to mid 50s. The next weather system starts to approach tonight. We'll see increasing clouds. The low temperature in the low to mid 30s. Tomorrow is mostly cloudy. Sprinkles, spotty light rain is possible. Our high temperature in the mid 50s. Still quite a bit of cloud cover expected on Friday, partly to mostly cloudy. I'm Mike Mays in the North Carolina News Network Weather Center.
Well, listen to the weekend weather. Saturday, sunny with highs around 51, light wind. And then Sunday, partly cloudy with highs around 51, light wind. And then the rain comes back to the forecast Sunday night, Monday, and Tuesday with a 60% chance of rain over that time. We got a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday that looks good for us to be outdoors. It's 45 degrees right now here at WCAB in Rutherfordton. 6 minutes after 7, now I have these death announcements. Johnny W. Buddy Bennett, age 82 of Forest City, died Sunday, January the 17th, at his residence. A graveside service will be held at 2 o'clock today at Pleasant Grove United Methodist Church Cemetery. The family will greet friends following the service. For the safety of those attending, masks and social distancing are requested. Again, that's Buddy Bennett, and the Pageant of King Mortuary is in charge of those arrangements. George David Johnson, 86 of Forest City, passed away January the 18th at hospice of the Carolina Foothills. Those arrangements are incomplete at this time and will be announced later by Crow's Mortuary. Again, that's George David Johnson. Judy A. McFadden, age 77 of Forest City, died January the 18th. Graveside services will be held 3 o'clock today at Mount Vernon Baptist Church Cemetery. Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Judy McFadden. Johnny Max Bridges, age 64 of Ellenboro, died Tuesday, January the 19th at Atrium Health, Charlotte, following a brief illness. Funeral arrangements are incomplete at this time and will be announced by the Pageant and King Mortuary and Crematory for Johnny Max Bridges. Mrs. Helen Oach Grayson, 90 of Golden Valley, died Tuesday, January the 19th at Accordius Health in Rutherfordton. Arrangements are incomplete and will be announced by Washburn and Dorsey Funeral and Cremation Service. Again, that's Mrs. Helen Oach Grayson. Harvey Sisk, age 72 of Bostic, passed away January the 15th at Atrium Health, Cleveland and Shelby. A private memorial service to honor Jerry's life will be conducted, and Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services has been entrusted with those arrangements for Harvey Sisk. Jeffrey Allen Wilkie, age 58, passed away January the 14th. A private, immediate family-only service will be held due to COVID. Jeff will be laid to rest at Eternal Hills Memorial Park in Crow's Mortuary and Crematory, assisting the family of Jeffrey Allen Wilkie. Myron Scott Moss, 73 of Rutherfordton, passed away Friday, January the 15th at Mission Hospital, Asheville. Services will be private, and Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Myron Scott Moss. Billy Baber, age 95 of Forest City, passed away Sunday at hospice of the Carolina Foothills. The funeral service will be conducted at 1 o'clock Thursday, January the 21st at Gooch Creek Baptist Church. Burial will follow at Rutherford County Memorial Cemetery with military honors being provided by the Rutherford County Honor Guard. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services in charge of the arrangements for Billy Baber. Thomas Earl Philbeck, 67 of Ellenboro, died Sunday, January the 17th at his home. Funeral services will be held 3 p.m. Thursday at Corinth Baptist Church. Burial will follow in the church cemetery. Family will receive friends from 5 until 7 this evening at Paget and King. Paget and King, mortuary and crematory, serving the family of Earl Philbank. Those are the death announcements we have in-house this morning. Complete information on these and others as they become available to us can be heard this morning at 11:35.
Revealing the real agenda behind the Democrat Party's ridiculous second bite at the impeachment apple. Impeachment manager Congressman Joaquin Castro, Democrat, Texas, told ABC's George Stephanopoulos that one of the reasons behind the re-impeachment of President Trump is so he can't run for federal office again, so he won't be able to seek the presidency. Another Pelosi henchman, Maryland Democrat Jamie Raskin, this guy is a real oddball. He told Jake Tapper CNN the Constitution talks about conviction, removal, and disqualification from holding further public office. Now, apparently these Democrats don't have the attention span to actually read and comprehend the Constitution because there's no provision in there for what they're trying to do. The Constitution provides the mechanism for sitting presidents and other officials to be impeached while they are in office. Nothing allows somebody who's out of office to be impeached retroactively. Impeaching a private citizen was never contemplated. The mechanism does not exist. Normally, that would mean something, but Democrats look at the Constitution as a bunch of suggestions instead of as the framework of law that it is. They twist and they bend it, or they just ignore it when it doesn't give them the outcome they want. Now, if they keep going with this fake impeachment, it should end up at the Supreme Court where, hopefully, the Constitution still has meaning. Hopefully. We don't even have any confidence in that, sadly. If you are looking for a resolution that's easy to keep in the new year, here's one. Resolve to help protect your identity and personal information with LifeLock's identity theft protection. LifeLock alerts you to potential threats to your identity. Now, you could miss certain ID threats by just monitoring your credit. LifeLock sees more, like your information for sale on the dark web. And if you have a problem, one of LifeLock's U.S.-based restoration specialists helps you resolve your issues. Now, no one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but LifeLock is the New Year's resolution that's not only easy to keep, it'll help keep what's yours yours. You can save up to 25% off your first year. Call 800-440-4833 or go to lifelock.com and use the promo code RUSH. That's lifelock.com. Make sure to make a note, the promo code RUSH. That's how you save 25%.
Gilbert Talks Taxes is on the air every Saturday from 8 to 9 a.m. Get the latest from the IRS in North Carolina. That's Gilbert Talks Taxes every Saturday from 8 to 9, only on WCAB.
The music's on us on WCAB.
Good morning. Good morning.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush, brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton. When it comes to calling a pest control company, people in the know call Hutchins Pest Control. With over 40 years experience behind them, it's a known fact that Tim Hutchins and his team come ready to do a professional job for you. Licensed in both North and South Carolina and voted the best for 10 years. Hutchins Pest Control comes fully insured, honest, dependable, and on-time service. Call Hutchins Pest Control today at 287-5171 to get rid of your pest and rodent problems.
John Sutter and John Marshall were partners in a sawmill to provide lumber for the buildings that would comprise an empire Sutter had envisioned called New Switzerland. When John Marshall told Sutter of the gold discovery, his first thought was not of the potential of vast wealth, but of how it would adversely affect New Switzerland. Even though Sutter owned 50,000 acres of land, the mill was on public land. At the time, California was in the process of being transferred from Mexican to U.S. ownership. With no government authority, Sutter and Marshall exchanged clothing and other trinkets with the local Indians for a lease of land surrounding the site. Even though they tried to keep the discovery a secret, in no time the whole world knew about it. As men were panning for gold, Marshall was busy cutting lumber and Sutter was tending his crops. Within a year, both of their businesses failed. Without a clear title, John Marshall was eventually run off the land where the mill was located. John Sutter's 50,000 acres came from 2 Spanish land grants. One was declared void, and squatters took over the other. Eventually, both men tried mining for gold, but they failed. John Sutter died penniless in 1880, and John Marshall did the same in 1885. Although Sutter and Marshall, the discoverers of gold, never saw a profit from the discovery, during the first 25 years following the discovery, over $978 million worth of gold was taken from the area of Sutter's mill. You've just heard another story from Chronicle of the Old West. I'm Dakota Livesay.
Now let's get started with our call-around news portion of our 7 o'clock hour. Let's go first to the Sheriff's Department, and Deputy Friend is on the phone with us now to give us that report. Good morning. How are you doing?
Doing good, sir. How are you?
Doing great. Glad to have you on the report.
Yes, sir.
What's
Past 24 hours, the Sheriff's Office County had 126 calls, 14 arrests, and there are currently 156 in the jail. Incident reports, we had a Harry Feifei of Rolliston reported a breaking and entering, larceny after breaking and entering of a weed eater, a generator, and a backpack blower. We had a Perry Boyd of Forest City reported felony larceny of a black flatbed trailer. And then as far as arrests, we had a Mitchell Martin of Spindale charged with assault by strangulation, assault on a female, communicating threats. We also had a Jose Lopez of Rolliston charged with non-support of child support. And that's all we have for the day.
All right, Deputy Friend, thank you so much for that report, and you be safe out there today.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye. New reporter from the Sheriff's Department. Glad to have him on with us. It's a 911 call coming up next.
Nobody gets a better deal than the customers of Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. They continue to strive hard to keep that honor. Come on in and see for yourself. Take a look at the all-new design 2021 F-150 or reserve an all-new 2021 Bronco coming in the spring. Don't miss out on the automobile you've been wanting at the Sisk Family Ford price. Take your pick while the picking is good on Oak Street in Forest City.
Here's Amanda now with the 911 Communication Center report. Amanda, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing good, thank you. What's on that report?
Well, in the past 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 Communications Center has processed 426 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 26 for the emergency medical services, 16 for rescue, 126 calls for the Sheriff's Office, 61 for Forest City, 4 for Lake Lure, 63 for Rutherfordton, and 69 for Spindale. Rutherfordton Fire Department had a structure fire assisted by Green Hill, STO, and Spindale. Hudlow had an industrial fire alarm, and Spindale had a motor vehicle crash, and that is all.
Appreciate the report very much. You have a great day over there.
You too.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Last year, I guess it was, I met these fine folks. I'm so impressed with them, and I wanted to ask them, let me share their story to you, and that is the IE Accounting and Tax Service. So versatile in all the things that they do, but here's something you will be thinking about right now. If you need help in getting your books ready for taxes, you need to get to know IE Accounting and Tax Service. Now, you spell IE, A-R-Y-E-E, A-R-Y-E-E. They're right on Main Street there, former Metcalf Insurance Building. They're in that building. And they're more than someone just to fill out your forms for you. They can very likely save you money. IE Accounting and Tax Service can help set up your bookkeeping at a lower price than anybody in the U.S., guaranteed. Teach QuickBooks, handle your payroll, help implementation of a tax plan to get you the best return and recognize the full value of that. IE Accounting and Tax Service can help if you're in trouble with the IRS or if you're unhappy the way your tax returns were handled last year. Make a call to IE Accounting and Tax Service today. That phone number is 395-1777. And you know what else? They're a forensic specialist. If you have a fraud case, they're specialists in handling fraud issues, from the simplest tax form to the more complex issues. IE Accounting and Tax Service could be the best decision you can make. That phone number is 395-1777, right on Main Street there in Spindale. Again, you spell IE, A-R-Y-E, IE Accounting and Tax Service. Here's Ruby Taylor now with the SDO Fire District Report. Ruby, good morning.
Good morning.
What's on your report today?
Well, they assisted Ralston on a structure fire. And on my birthday calendar, I've got Billy Tony, Steve Taylor, Carolyn Tate, Brian Root, Matt McDaniel, and Brady Lale having birthdays today, and hope these people have a nice day. Signs are in the neck today and tomorrow, Jim. That's all I've got.
I appreciate it, Ruby. Have a good day.
You too.
Thanks.
And bye.
Bye-bye. The Spindale Police Department is asking our help and assistance in locating Kashim Omari Quayshan Corpening. 19-year-old has not been seen by his parents in about 3 weeks. He is described as a black male, 6 feet 3 inches tall, weighs about 145 pounds, and has ear-length curly blonde hair and brown eyes, and he goes with the street name of Bino. Corpening is known to frequent the Town and Country Motel in Reservation Drive in Spindale. Anyone with information as to Corpening's location is asked to contact the Spindale Police Department at 286-3464 or Rutherford County 911 Communications Center at 286-2911. Let's check in now with Gary Wilson up at the Fairfield Mountains Fire District and Bills Creek Fire District and see what kind of news he's got this morning. Good morning, Gary.
Hey, Jim, how you doing?
Doing good. Hope you are.
Yeah, a little breezy out here right now. Wind got up about a half hour ago. Temperatures, I think it got the temperature confused. It was 40 degrees when I looked earlier, and I looked a while ago, and it was 44, so it's warming up already, but it's getting pretty breezy out there. But we've had a quiet night, no precipitation the last 24 hours. Bills Creek ran 2 fire calls, I think, in the last 24 hours. They had a medical call and a fire call. We're sitting on about 44 degrees this morning, ready for another day, and today's a big day, ain't it? Get the inauguration.
It is a big day. A lot of folks' eyes will be glued to the TV today, I think.
I hope it'll be nice and peaceful and quiet one.
I do, too, and I hope these next 4 years will be good for our country.
I hope so, too. We've had enough drama going on with everything in the world, including the pandemic. Be glad to put some of that behind us, maybe.
Yep, I hope so. All right, Gary, anything else?
That's about it, Jim.
Thanks so much. You have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, talk to you.
Thanks. All right, bye-bye. Gary Wilson reporting out of the mountains up there, Fairfield Mountains Fire District, and also Bills Creek Fire District. Time now to say good morning to Andrew Tisdale.
Good morning. These are your headlines. Market declines, unemployment, oil prices. These can be pretty scary. Hi, I'm your Edward Jones financial advisor, Andrew Tisdale, and I'll work with you to help you understand the impact of these just short-term events and how it's not going to affect your long-term goals. We can provide the tools and the reasoned, disciplined approach on how to invest. So please, don't let these headlines derail your long-term financial strategy. Call us today, 828-287-9197. Our office is located in the Food Line Plaza in Rutherford. This was Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investing, and a member of the SIPC. Bye.
Rutherford County Sheriff's Office is requesting our help also in locating a missing runaway juvenile, Dustin Steele Cogdell. Dustin is 16-year-old white male, last seen by his father at 170 TC Trail, Forest City, on January the 15th at 1:30 a.m. Dustin is described as 5'10", 130 pounds, brown hair with a crew cut, blue eyes, last seen wearing black hoodie, black pants, and a gray T-shirt. Anyone with information as to the location of Dustin Steele Cogdill is asked to contact Rutherford County 911 Communications Center at 286-2911. Now we're going up to the Hudlow Fire District. Mr. Bob Hott, how are you doing this morning?
We're doing just fine on this hump day morning.
Hump Day Wednesday again.
It sure is. And you better hold on to that steering wheel this morning. We're getting some gusty winds up here at times, so be careful out there driving this morning. And Jim, with the fire department, been pretty quiet. We answered one fire alarm call. I want to say happy birthday to Doug Walker this morning. And that's about it. Things are going along quiet so far.
Well, that's pretty quiet for the past few days, hasn't it?
That's right. So maybe we'll stay quiet for a while, but like the old saying, comes in bunches like bananas when it does come.
That's right.
But Jim, that's about it up here.
Well, I hope you have a great day up there, Bob, and I appreciate the information, and I look forward to talking to you again tomorrow.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hudlow Fire District reporter Bob Hodge. The Forest City Police Department is requesting our help in identifying a larceny suspect. They were called to Walmart in reference to a larceny that occurred on January the 11th. The suspect is a black female with brown hair wearing a Hilfiger jacket and dark pants. The suspect took a pair of Beats headphones. If you have information about this person, please contact Joey Brandel at Forest City Police Department at 245-5555 or Central Communications at 286-2911. Now we're checking in with Sue Price over at the Cherry Mountain Fire District. See if it's quiet over there. Good morning, Sue.
Good morning, Jim.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Hope you are.
Yeah, is it quiet over there?
It's quiet and calm. That's the way we like it. Hadn't had any calls from the fire department. And let's see, I don't have any birthdays on my church calendar today. On my personal calendar, I got a birthday for Jeff Sampson, so I hope he'll have a good day. And Fairview didn't have anything today, so not too many celebrating over here, but we're hoping everybody that's having a birthday or an anniversary will have a real good day on their special day. Looks like it's going to be pretty nice out.
I believe it is too. It looks like a pretty good day today.
Yeah. So far, I still have no announcements, so it's just quiet and calm over this way. We're looking for a good day, and I hope you'll have one, Jim.
Thanks, Sue. I'll talk with you again tomorrow.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Henson Building Materials is returning to our regular days and hours to better serve the fast-growing building needs of the Forest City area. Our hours will be 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and Saturday from 8 a.m. to 12 noon. We'll still be taking safety measures, cleaning, wearing masks, and social distancing, all while our friendly and knowledgeable staff will be taking your orders on a variety of building, remodeling, and DIY projects. With the combined experience of over 50 years, Jamie Earls, Terry Dunaway, and Randy Harrell in our 10,000 square foot showroom will get you in and out, loaded and back to your project, all with the flexibility in ordering. And while you're at it, visit our Homeworks by Henson showroom with our 2 designers for all of your kitchen and bath cabinet and countertop design needs. Time to get out, get busy, and visit Henson Building Materials. Building starts here.
Let's check on things up at Shingle Hollow, North Carolina, US of A. Tina White's on the phone to give us an update from there. Good morning, Tina.
Good morning. How are you this beautiful Wednesday morning?
It's a beautiful day, and I feel great. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. It's going to be an exciting day, I think.
It is in a lot of ways, yeah.
Well, this morning, the Shingle Hollow Fire Department didn't have any calls, but Green Hill had a couple calls. Let me read here what he sent me. He said that they were dispatched to assist Rutherford on a previous fire that was canceled, and then they were dispatched to a possible brush fire to control burns. They've been out working.
Good, yeah.
I have no birthdays up here in this little area today, but somebody might. If they do, I hope they have a wonderful day and no announcements.
Well, I hope it's going to be a great day for you and your family as well, and all the folks up in Shingle Hollow. We say hello and good morning to them.
I hope everybody that's listening has a great day, and you better get the Kelly report.
I'll get that Kelly report from upstate Union Mills coming up next.
Have a great day, Jim.
See you, Tina.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Steve White reporting out of Shingle Hollow. I want to share this letter that I received yesterday via email. Always glad to get these kind of things. Letter came in from Jerry Thornton. He says, I would like to express my appreciation for WCAB ownership and staff for offering real, original, community-centered, and entertaining radio broadcasts. It is so refreshing to discover an information source reminiscent of the best years of hometown radio. Congratulations on over 50 years of broadcasting on medium wave radio. I'm located in Knightdale, North Carolina, 235 miles east of Rutherfordton. I was standing in my backyard a couple of nights ago and got a very impressive signal from WCAB at around 7 o'clock. I heard the station ID coming out of NCN News. I apologize for rambling on, but I have been concerned for a few years now about the downward spiral of commercial radio in general. I firmly believe that the conglomerate ownership of multiple stations, automation, and outsourcing of programming has hijacked the quality and personality of local radio because of the almighty dollar. And again, thank you for standing true to radio and not caving in to new radio machine. All the best, Jerry Thornton. I thought that was great, and that's the same philosophy we believe in, keeping radio real, hometown, friendly, community-minded radio, and not some commercialized jukebox. We're happy to get this, although it came out of Nightville. Those skips will happen from time to time. Some place far away will pick up a signal for a few minutes and it'll go away. I can't explain that skip like that, but he reported that at 7 o'clock p.m. when he heard the station ID coming out of NCN News. So he knew exactly what we were doing, and he is glad to know there is a radio station that's still doing the thing that radio should be doing. Thank you, Jerry. Now we're moving up to Union Mills to get the Kelly report. And here is Miss Brenda. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you on this wonderful Wednesday morning?
Wonderful, wonderful.
I'm glad to hear it. Ready for today, huh?
Well, yeah, I'm ready to face another day.
That's good. I enjoyed the music you played this morning. That Thad Harold sang, that was pretty.
We Shall See Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does a great job on that song.
I think I was at the foundation when he sung that years ago. I'm almost sure I was.
Yeah. We did it in one of the homecoming events.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, he's requested quite a bit. He has to do that one quite a bit when we go out, and sometimes we seem to get tired of those songs, but some folks don't. So we have to do them because it's a blessing to some folks, and we're happy to do it.
That's exactly right. And y'all do a fine job. I enjoy it.
Thank you.
Well, let's see. I've got 36 degrees on the front porch. That's quite a bit warmer than it was yesterday morning.
Yes.
I don't have any birthdays, any anniversaries. I don't know of anything going on. It's quiet, and we want it to stay quiet. We don't want no whole bunch of stuff going on.
No, we don't. We want a sensible year.
That's right.
I think we're due for a sensible year, don't you?
I think so, too, yeah. But, I was listening to the news. I don't know if it was on the radio this morning or if it was on the TV. It might have been on the TV because I got up at 4 o'clock and turned the TV on. I couldn't help but think about you asking me how late do I sleep in.
This morning we got a good example.
4:30 to sleep in for me. But they was talking about the virus, that this may be something that we'll have to deal with the rest of our lives and have to get a booster shot every year.
Well, the booster shot may be just like the flu shot. It may be an every year kind of thing, but
yeah, that's what I was thinking. I thought, well, the flu's a virus too, and it's bad. Believe me, from my own experience, it's bad, and I have to get a flu shot every year. So
and I have to get a vitamin B12 shot every month, so I'll just be getting shot.
Do you take the pneumonia shot?
Yeah, I've had the pneumonia shot. I hadn't had the shingles shot, but I have had the pneumonia shot. So.
What about the shot?
Well, no, I hadn't had no shot. No, I hadn't had one of them. But we just hope everybody will have a good day, and I guess you better go check on Luther Sweet Thing Gilligan.
Keep things straight up there in Union Mills, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, have a good one. Catch you later.
Bye.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
McCurry Deck Motors has been providing the stylish Buick for families for generations. Come browse a new selection and you'll find the car that everybody's talking about. The family-owned dealership is deeply entrenched in our community. They understand the needs of the customers and will work with them to find the perfect car, truck, or crossover for their lives. Experience the new Buick at McCurry Deck Motors. Take a look around the website to learn more about everything offered at McCurry Deck Motors, 1740 U.S. Highway 74A, Forest City.
We have 45 degrees here in Rutherfordton in beautiful downtown Whiteside Road. Let's go over to Ellenboro and talk with the man about town, Mr. Luther Gilligan. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning down here. We're still waiting on the sun to come up.
It'll be up after a while.
It'll be up.
Yep.
Maybe tomorrow before we see it, but we'll see it.
Yeah, we'll see it sometime. You may have to go in the dark room to keep so the sun to come up, but it'll be up.
That's right. I go out there, I'll brighten things up.
You were surprised your mama called your son.
That's right. But we having a good morning. It's quiet this morning. We just sitting around drinking coffee, enjoying life. Party department was quiet all day yesterday and all night last night. So everybody stayed snug in the bed, didn't have to get up and go out. Just nothing going on down here. Everybody's just getting their biscuits and heading on out to work, get the middle of the week over and start downhill. But when we have birthday day to Miss Karen Black, she's having birthday today, and also Jacob Mooney having birthday today. So hope these people have a great day and enjoy their day. Jim, you enjoy your day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you, Luther. I will do that. You do as well, and stay in touch with us, and we'll see you tomorrow.
All right, take care now.
Thank you. Bye-bye. And that leaves us time for birthdays for this 20th day of January 20th, and see who is celebrating birthday or anniversary. So far, we've not had many birthdays in January. I suspect this year will be a booming year for babies being born, because 2020, a lot of folks were closed in for a long time, so we may have a population boom this year. We'll see. We'll see how that happens. But right now, we've opened the phone lines for birthdays and anniversaries, 287-3356. 287-3356. We'll celebrate your birthday. Give you a big shout out coming up next.
It's great to get discounts on beautiful furniture, and thanks to the Recliner Center, you can get 10% off everything in the store. 10% off lift chairs, 10% off sofas, 10% off recliners, 10% off bedding. Angela has changed her hours to suit your schedule. The Recliner Center is now open Tuesday through Friday, 9 to 4, and Saturdays, 9 to 2. And of course, you can make an appointment by calling 828-395-3562. Come by soon and pick out the recliner, sofa, or lift chair that best suits you and get 10% off your purchase. Come by and see Angela Cooper at the Recliner Center today. The Recliner Center is on Cooper's Gap Road in Rutherfordton.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply is a variety store. Here's why I say that. They have all your pet supplies in stock. They have horse quality hay, refill propane, $10.99 for a 10-pound tank, cedar shavings, 55-gallon barrels with lids only $20, cowlick tubs. Check on the Dura Heat propane heaters or the 5200 BTU Comfort Glow heaters for only $29.99. Check their feed prices before you buy anywhere, and Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply keeps plenty of cardinal tissue, paper towels. Like I said, Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply is a variety store, 188 Whiteside Road, Rutherfordton.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
That's really something to crow about. It's the Daylight Donuts from Granny B's in Spindale. Get yours today. While they're fresh, they're good, they're delicious. It's Daylight Donuts. It's something to crow about.
Happy birthday.
No birthdays recorded today from the phones or even earlier with nobody celebrating today in the foothills. But it is a big day in Washington, of course. The new president being sworn in today. Trump's departing the White House soon, and Biden will be moving in soon. It's a big, big day in Washington. Prayers are warranted. Coming up in just a moment, Keys to Confident Living. We'll play some oldies from the classic oldie file. Get ready for the hour number 3 coming up. Right here, WCAB.
The coach called the little leaguer in from center field for a conference. Eddie wasn't sure what he had done nor what to expect when he got to the dugout. The coach was in a very serious mood. When he arrived at the bench, the coach said, "Eddie, you know the principles of good sportsmanship that the little league practices. You know we don't tolerate temper tantrums, shouting at the umpire, or abusive language. Do I make myself clear?" "Yes, sir," replied the little leaguer. "Well then, Eddie," sighed the coach, "would you please try to explain it to your mother?" Jesus said in his Sermon on the Mount, "You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Let your light shine before men that they may see your good deeds and praise your Father in heaven." A brother and sister were fighting, and one of the parents told them to quit. The children informed the parent that they weren't fighting. They were just playing mom and dad. Adults are to be good examples. We are to set a standard that children and youth can follow. What children learn from us is more often caught than taught. Many of the great teaching moments are the times when we are simply being observed by our children. Someone has said, "Others will follow your footsteps quicker than your advice." This is Bill Hostler with today's Key to Confident Living. Scripts for today's Key to Confident Living are now available in book form by calling toll-free 1-888-333-KEYS.
Want to wish a happy birthday to Doug Walker, one of our state troopers, having a birthday today. Want to wish him a happy, and a safe holiday. We'll say good morning to Theo. Good morning up there in Golden Valley. 28 degrees, a little bit warmer today. So I want to say good morning. Thanks for tuning in our webpage at www.wcab59.com. Keep up the good work up there, my friend.
The music's on us on WCAB.
Gilbert Talks Taxes is on the air every Saturday from 8 to 9 a.m. Get the latest from the IRS in North Carolina. That's Gilbert Talks Taxes every Saturday from 8 to 9, only on WCAB.
Wednesday music's on us, WCAB.
from ABC News. I'm Aaron Katursky at the Capitol, where just hours from now, Joe Biden takes the oath of office to become the 46th President of the United States. The 45th president is now leaving Washington for the final time, as ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers tells us.
Aaron, President Trump this hour leaves the White House for the last time, taking Marine One to Joint Base Andrews outside Washington. Usually presidents make that final trip after attending the inauguration ceremony, but President Trump is not going. In just a few moments, there will be a send-off ceremony for the president at Andrews. Friends, family, and supporters are gathering to wave goodbye as he boards Air Force One for the last time as president. Mr. Trump's expected to land in Palm Beach, Florida, just before Joe Biden's sworn in as the next president. Aaron?
Joe Biden ascends to the presidency after a riot and in a pandemic. Chairs for the limited audience here are spaced apart, and there's no crowd on the National Mall, which is surrounded by metal fencing and armed troops. American flags are meant to represent the citizens who could not be here, but they accentuate the emptiness of this fortress city. ABC's Alex Stone is down on the National Mall.
Unprecedented security in place, Aaron, this morning. Multiple layers of fencing, National Guard in place, shoulder to shoulder in some areas, guns across their chests. Bridges into D.C. are shut down right now. The Capitol riot prompting concerns about large crowds here today, even if they don't materialize. There are other worries that federal agents are concerned about. One woman telling me she doesn't remember it this locked down in Washington even after 9/11. Aaron?
After the scaled-back pageantry, the new president gets to work with a series of executive orders and a virtual celebration as he tries to set a new tone for the country. From the Capitol, I'm Aaron Katursky. Now with more news, here's Dave Packer.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell for the first time publicly cast blame on President Trump for the violent attack on the Capitol, saying on the Senate floor, the mob was fed by lies. You're listening to ABC News.
2021 marks the 35th anniversary of the American Eagle coin program, and these historic silver coins will never be the same again. Why?
The U.S. Mint has unveiled new designs for the 2021 American Silver Eagle coins, scheduled to appear mid-year.
This means now is your last chance to get an American Silver Eagle coin with the original Eagle design.
The American Eagle coin series has become the best-selling coin series in the world.
Act fast or miss your opportunity to own the last year of this historic Silver Eagle coin design.
Just call govmint.com at 1-800-495-6468 and you're guaranteed a shiny, new, perfect mint condition American Eagle silver dollar.
Get them now before time runs out.
Call 1-800-495-6468 now, and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, free with every order.
This exclusive offer is only available by phone. Call 1-800-495-6468 now to secure your American Eagle silver dollar coins before the current design ceases production. That's 1-800-495-6468.
More charges in connection with the riot at the Capitol 2 weeks ago. Thomas Caldwell, identified as a member of the group the Oath Keepers, is now facing the first conspiracy charge connected to the siege. The Justice Department says while he was inside the Capitol on the 6th, Caldwell got a Facebook message and tried to trap lawmakers in tunnels and turn on the gas, his words on Facebook. Nicholas DiCarlo caught in a picture at the Capitol posing next to a message that said "Murder the Media," charged with illegally entering the building. ABC's Jim Ryan says a new study shows the ranks of militia and right-wing groups are growing.
The Southern Poverty Law Center has found that with a rise in concern about civil unrest has come a corresponding interest in militias. Dylan Hodges says his group, Oklahoma Resistance, has seen a surge in membership.
We are out to teach the public about what this country was formed on and what we need to do to keep up with their values.
And while groups like Oath Keepers have hinted at another assault on Washington, Hodges says he and Oklahoma Resistance are staying home.
Because we're afraid of making a situation worse.
Jim Ryan, ABC News.
The College Board, the group behind the SAT, now says it's getting rid of the optional essays and supplementary tests known as SAT subject tests. It cites the pandemic as a main reason for the change. The College Board is also working on making the SAT completely online. This is ABC News.
With the new president, so much is happening in Washington. Now, millions are turning to Newsmax TV, your trusted news source. They're going online to Newsmax.com for breaking news and downloading the free Newsmax app on their smartphones. Newsmax TV is on all major cable systems. If you don't get Newsmax, call your cable operator or watch it free on Roku, YouTube, Apple TV, Xumo, Pluto, and smart TVs like Samsung and LG. Newsmax is real news for real people. Start watching today.
Dave Packer, ABC News.
We're already tracking our next system that's across Texas this afternoon. There's what we call a zonal flow in the upper atmosphere, a west to east flow. So systems that get embedded in this flow move quickly to the east, and that's what we're going to see move in tonight and tomorrow. Today, though, mostly sunny, breezy, the high in the low to mid-50s. Tonight, it's increasing clouds, the low in the low to mid-30s. Tomorrow, sprinkles, spotty light rain possible, otherwise mostly cloudy, mid-50s the highs. I'm Mike Mays in the North Carolina News Network Weather Center.
Well, the thermometer's playing tricks on us this morning. We started out when I got here this morning at 46 degrees. It's dropped to 45. Now it's 43, but our daytime high today is expected to be 53 with wind gusting to 16 miles per hour. Now, that wind makes it feel a whole lot colder out there, so be aware of that when you go out. Those of you who are sensitive to that, wrap up with a double coating jacket or something. Tonight, back down to 32, freezing and light wind. The isolated showers very briefly tomorrow, only a 20% chance tomorrow. Most of the shower activity is going to take place Monday, Tuesday, and Tuesday night. But the weekend looks absolutely fantastic, almost like a Chamber of Commerce kind of weekend. We got some news from here and there coming up here in just a few moments.
Hello, this is John Higgins with Smith's Drugs of Forest City. We are very excited to begin offering a rapid COVID-19 test, along with the COVID-19 vaccinations when Phase 2 begins. To find out more about these opportunities here at Smith's Drugs, please check out our website at www.smithsdrugsfc.com and our Facebook page for updates when testing and vaccinations will begin. We plan to schedule appointments for testing and the vaccination through our website, which will have links from our Facebook page. If you have any questions, please call us at 828-245-4591. Thank you, and we look forward to serving you here at Smith's Drugs of Forest City.
Thank you, John. Some of the stories from here and there this morning. The woman killed Friday night in a single car crash, split time as a resident of Union Mills, according to North Carolina Highway Patrol. Tracy Nicole Butts, 33, was pronounced dead at Spartanburg Regional Medical Center after she was airlifted to the hospital following a 7:23 p.m. wreck on Andrews Mill Road, according to Sergeant P.J. Morgan. Butts reportedly lived in Chesney. However, she had a North Carolina driver's license with the Union Mills address. A man identified as Butts' uncle told the Highway Patrol they lived at the residence some of the time. Butts was driving northwest on Andrews Mill Road in a 2004 Subaru when she crossed the center line and veered off the left shoulder of the road and struck several trees. She was wearing a seatbelt at the time, and alcohol is not believed to have played a factor in that wreck. Also, Morgan said, Butts' crash marked Rutherford County's first fatality of 2021. Tuesday, the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services reported 9 more Rutherford County residents perished due to COVID-19, bringing the county's current death total to 154. Rutherford's sowing death count nets the county with the dubious distinction of being the state's leader in coronavirus-related deaths per capita. It's not a honor we like getting, but Rutherford's sowing death wins us the distinction of being the state's leader in coronavirus-related deaths per capita. Along with the rising fatalities, the update also reports there are 270 new cases across the county, and where there is an 18.2% positivity rate for the last 14 days, or 1,021 new cases over the same 2-week period. State figures show Rutherford has a total of 5,743 COVID-19 cases since the pandemic began. Coronavirus cases continue to surge across the state, with 84 counties among those with critical spread, an increase of 19 counties in the category over the last month, including Rutherford. Also on Tuesday, the U.S. topped 400,000 deaths from COVID-19. If you are a healthcare worker or over the age of 65, please register for the vaccine at www.rutherfordcovid.com or call 223-5735. Spindale Police Department is asking, asking our help in locating a missing teenager. They're asking the public for assistance in locating Kashim Omari Quay Sean Corpening. The 19-year-old has not been seen by his family for about 3 weeks. He's described as a black male, 6 feet 3 inches tall, weighs about 145 pounds, and has ear-length curly blonde hair and brown eyes, and he goes by the street name of Beano. Corpening is known to frequent the Town and Country Motel on Reservation Drive in Spindale. Anyone with information as to Corpening's location is asked to contact the Spindale Police Department at 286-3464 or Rutherford County 911 Communications Center at 286-2911. Rutherford County Sheriff's Office requests the public's assistance in locating a missing runaway juvenile, Dustin Steele Cogdell. Dustin is 16 years old, white male, last seen by his father at 170 TC Trail, Forest City on January the 15th at 1:30 a.m. Dustin is described as 5'10", 130 pounds, brown hair with crew cut, blue eyes, last seen wearing black hoodie, black pants, and a gray T-shirt. Anyone with information as to the location of Dustin Steele Cogdell is asked to contact Rutherford County 911 Communications Center at 286-2911, 286-2911. Meanwhile, the Forest City Police Department asking for help in recognizing the public's assistance in identifying a larceny suspect. Officers were called to Walmart in reference to a larceny that had occurred on January the 11th. The suspect is a black female with brown hair wearing a Hilfiger jacket and dark pants. The suspect took a pair of Beats headphones. If you have any information, please contact MPO Joey Brandel at Forest City Police Department at 245-5555 or contact the Central Communications at 286-2911. Of course, it's a big day up in Washington today. You'll see a lot of activity in just a little while when this inauguration takes place, the swearing in. President Trump is, just a matter of a few minutes, will be leaving the White House for the final time, at least right now. And he'll be going over to Andrews for a ceremony there with a lot of fans waiting to greet him there, and then he'll fly on to Florida to his home. He's waiting now for the departure there at the White House. I've never seen so much hatred for a president. A lot of us disagreed with Obama's policies, but we didn't hate him. We didn't go to the idea of boycotting places because he happened to boycott them. But they have absolutely hatred for folks like Donald Trump. Matter of fact, MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell has said that Bed Bath & Beyond and Kohl's are going to stop selling his products because he's a friend and supported Donald Trump. MyPillow products won't be carried in Kohl's or Bed Bath & Beyond any longer, the company's CEO said. CEO Mike Lindell said Monday that his company recently was notified of the discontinuance. Lindell told Right Side Broadcasting Network, I just got off the phone with Bed Bath & Beyond. They're dropping my pillow. Just got off the phone not 5 minutes ago. Kohl's, all these different places. Bed Bath & Beyond told the Epoch Times via email, we're continually improving our product assortment, which includes plans to offer an array of unique and exclusive own brands from spring of 2021. Well, that may be true, but they're doing it because the pressure was put on them to discontinue MyPillow products. The decision to stop carrying MyPillow was made recently. Kohl's didn't respond to the query. Lindell said the action came after groups like Sleeping Giant pushed companies to stop doing business with him. So there you go, folks. Lindell drew attention last week by visiting the White House to meet with President Donald Trump. And the haters are so rampantly hateful that they are boycotting businesses like Bed Bath & Beyond because they carry a product from a man who has a great history of pulling himself up from poverty, from drug addiction, from alcoholism to a faith in Christ. And he built a great, successful business. He happens to be conservative, happens to be Christian, and happens to be a friend of Donald Trump. So they're wanting to boycott that business because of the relationship. That's what I call hatred. Meanwhile, they're at it again. They're wanting to, those folks who are involved in this, they're wanting to ban Trump administration officials from speaking on campuses. Harvard University students are now circulating a petition that calls for revoking degrees from Trump supporters and aides who attended elite Ivy League institution. If you're on Trump's staff and you attended one of these, they want to revoke your degree. The reason cited, according to a copy of the petition reviewed by Fox Business, is that supporters of the President Trump were involved in spreading disinformation and mistrust that led to last week's riot at United States Capitol Building. Well, that is not true, and they're continuing to perpetuate that, and the newspapers and TVs are helping them do that. It's a shame that we have to have that much hatred for a man who tried so hard. And granted, his tongue got a little loose once in a while. He chased rabbits once in a while. If he'd have delivered speeches throughout his 4 years like the one he delivered yesterday as his departing speech, he'd probably still be president today. But folks got angry with him to some degree because he was so critical of the left. And he started sweeping away the swamp, cleaning the swamp, and it was deeper than I think he even realized. And he got close to some folks who were in the Senate, in the House, and they grew real nervous about that, so they had to turn on him. They had to become Judases and turn on him as well, and such as the leader of the Senate, Republican Senate, who's now is going to be the minority leader. So they couldn't stand the pressure, they couldn't stand the heat, so they diverted all their attention toward the man who started cleaning house, and they could not stand it. Anyway, some of the things that President Biden is wanting to do is an economic plan. Employees are saying he's wanting to raise the minimum wage to $15. Well, I'm of the opinion that should be a business decision and not a presidential decision. Businesses, they have to compete in the marketplace and let it be a competitive thing. If the competitor down the street is paying $15, then you've got to pay $15. Don't be mandated because the president says so. But many employers and employees over the past several years have pointed to experiences as the reason they oppose a $15 minimum wage, which forms the core of Joe Biden's proposed $1.9 trillion economic stimulus and COVID-19 relief package. Last month, Jamie Richardson, who is vice president of White Castle hamburger chain, we don't have one here, but they are in the South, he told CNBC's Closing Bell that raising the federal minimum wage from the current $7.25 an hour would force the closure of nearly half of his company's locations and lay off thousands of workers. To more than double the federally mandated starting wage wouldn't be bad for White Castle, but it'd be absolutely catastrophic. More than 200 of White Castle's 406 locations across the United States would close, with any remaining locations glowing embers. They would be dying stars. Richardson said the move would be unsustainable and result in teenage unemployment. White Castle, he said, is often able to retain teens, and he boasted that 1 in 4 employees had been with the company for 10 or more years. A study showing that over the past 30 years, minimum wage increase had reduced employment. In fact, the popular coffee shop restaurant in New York City, which once employed minimum wage champion Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, it went out of business last year after its co-owner cited New York City's minimum wage hike as the primary reason. And it wasn't the only casualty, as New York City experienced a restaurant recession after the mandatory wage increase. Small businesses cannot handle it, so they'll either go out of business or they'll cut back staff or cut hours down to bare bones. The retail giant Target won praise from liberals in 2017 when it announced plans to gradually raise its minimum wage to $15 an hour. But CNN Business reported in October 2019 that many Target employees who were supposed to benefit from the increase had suffered because of consequent reduced hours and increased automation. So there you go. Make it look good, but yet we're going to cut your hours and put automation in place of you. Also in 2019, employees of Whole Foods, which is owned by Amazon, told The Guardian that they experienced widespread cuts in schedule shifts that often negated wage gains. My hours went from 30 to 20 a week, said one Whole Food employee in Illinois. Every employer pays as much as he or she can to the best possible workforce. If the government sets a floor on what can be paid for a certain kind of job, either the job won't be filled or someone overqualified will do it, or automation will substitute. Automation has replaced some human cashiers in the city of SeaTac, Washington, the first municipality to impose a $15 minimum wage. You're finding now these automatic kiosks in place where you check yourself out. That's eliminating jobs. They're all over Walmart. CVS has got them. I'm not sure who all else has got them, but you're eliminating the cashier, and they're not going to pay the $15 minimum wage. But that's the way the liberals love to operate and make their plans based on what they think and not what's real. We got to get real, folks. We got to get real. 21 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock.
You know, there is a lot of misleading information about Medicaid eligibility. The Arledge Law Firm would like for you to know the truth. For instance, if you need a nursing home, Medicaid will take your home. That's not true. Another one is, if you transfer assets, you have to wait 60 months to qualify. Again, not true. And this big one, if you're already in a nursing home, it's too late to protect your assets. Not true, not true, not true. Call attorneys Gerald N. Willis, Kent Baldwin, or Martin Gerard at the Arledge Law Firm and get free consultation and learn the truth. It's more likely than you think that you may qualify for nursing home care and not lose everything you own. It's worth a call to Arledge Law Firm at 287-3338, located on East Court Street in Rutherfordton.
For a delicious meal every day, call on Gregory's Original. Choose from their top menu of burgers, subs, grinders, pasta dishes, fresh salads, and so much more. All dishes are prepared fresh daily. Hours are Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. until 9 p.m., Saturday, noon until 9 p.m. Now at Gregory's, try the family-style meals. The dining room is now open, but curbside and takeout is still available. Enjoy lunch or dinner today with your favorite meal from Gregory's. Call 287-2171, located in the Park Lane Plaza in Rutherford's Gregory's Original.
Hello, this is Dwayne Hunt with Insurance Service Associates. Are you on disability? Or maybe you're on Medicare? Or maybe both? Come see me, Dwayne Hunt, at Insurance Service Associates about a Medicare Advantage product brought to you by Humana. Please give me a call, 245-5301, at Insurance Service Associates, 127 East Trade Street, Forest City.
Deputy Friend was with us earlier from the Sheriff's Department to give us the news, and we recorded that session for broadcast at this time. Deputy Friend?
Past 24 hours, the Sheriff's Office County had 126 calls, 14 arrests, and there are currently 156 in the jail. Incident reports, we had a Harry Feifei of Rolleston reported a breaking and entering, larceny after breaking and entering, of a weed eater, a generator, and a backpack blower. We had Perry Boyd of Forest City reported felony larceny of a black flatbed trailer. And then as far as arrests, we had Mitchell Martin of Spindale charged with assault by strangulation, assault on a female communicating threats. We also had Jose Lopez of Rolleston charged with non-support of child support. And that's all we have for the day.
24/7 WCAB is serving the foothills of the Carolinas. Learn more about us at www.wcab59.com.
See you tomorrow, folks, bright and early, 6:05 for the morning wake-up call, hour number 1. Stand by now, sports update and Word of Faith Fellowship program at 8:30.
NCN Sports, I'm Josh Zach. A day after falling out of the AP Top 25 basketball poll, Duke fell for a second consecutive game, this time at Pitt, 79-73. Jalen Johnson scored a career-high 24 points for the Blue Devils, but Justin Champagne's 31 points and 14 rebounds proved too much for Duke to overcome. Mike Krzyzewski hopes his team can put more good minutes together without the stretches of poor play that have them out of the top 25 for the first time since 2016.
Jalen had a magnificent game, and he's just started to be with us. If he came close to doing that every game, then that's something that we can count on every game. But for us to figure out a team, there has to be some level of consistency of performance by all the kids, so you can define roles to win the game. And it's a tough loss for us because our kids did play winning basketball and put us in a position where we had a chance to win.
Other North Carolina programs in play last night. UNC Wilmington fell to Towson 78-74. Radford topped Campbell 97-91. The Fighting Camels originally scheduled to play Hampton, but they were forced to shuffle their calendar due to COVID issues involving the Pirates. Longwood left High Point feeling low in defeat, 75-54 the final. Asheville edged Gardner-Webb 79-75. Tonight, North Carolina looking for their sixth straight win over Wake Forest at the Dean Smith Center in Chapel Hill. On the ice last night, Carolina was set to play Game 2 of their two-game set in Nashville, but their game last night against the Predators was called off. NHL did not specify which team prompted the postponement, but it's reported that Canes players Tuovo Teravainen, Jacob Slavin, Jordan Martinook, and Warren Fogle have now all joined Carolina captain Jordan Stahl on the league's unavailable list due to COVID concerns. This is NCN Sports.
If the power goes out for your business, are you prepared with a backup? Without electricity, security systems go down, refrigerated items spoil, and customers are turned away. In other words, your business loses money. Control your power. Control your business with a Generac automatic standby generator. Alternative Power is North Carolina's Generac generator experts. In fact, all Alternative Power does is provide backup power. Financing options are available. See more at alternativepower.com.
If you control farmland in eastern North Carolina and looking for the best use of your farm, you'll want to know about the Harvey Cotton Success Program. Cotton prices are rising, and Harvey's, with nearly 150 years of helping solve problems for North Carolina farmers, introduces a truly turnkey, one-stop cotton solution without the need for third-party financing. Now is the time to consider cotton. Learn more about how you can take advantage of the Harvey Cotton Success Program at harveyfertilizerandgas.com.
The NBA has postponed tonight's game between the Hornets and Wizards at Spectrum Center in Charlotte because Washington won't have the minimum required 8 players available to take the court due to COVID contact tracing within the team. The Hornets are still scheduled to host the Bulls on Friday. It appears Ron Rivera and Marty Herney have been reunited. The NFL Network reporting Herney is expected to become the new general manager of the Washington football team, the same position he was fired from in Carolina on December 21st. The New York Mets are once again looking for a general manager. Jared Porter lasted just 38 days as the GM, fired for cause about 9 hours after ESPN reported he sent sexually explicit, uninvited text messages and images to a female reporter back in 2016 while he was working for the Chicago Cubs. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
This is Gilbert. If you owe the IRS past due taxes, don't call those toll-free national numbers. Local, affordable help is right here in Rutherford County. Stop garnishments, levies, and liens. Call Gilbert Carmona at 828-289-9300. All initial consultations are free. Call Gilbert, 828-289-9300.
We're already tracking our next system that's across Texas this afternoon. There's what we call a zonal flow in the upper atmosphere, a west to east flow. So systems that get embedded in this flow move quickly to the east, and that's what we're going to see move in tonight and tomorrow. Today, though, mostly sunny, breezy, the high in the low to mid-50s. Tonight, it's increasing clouds, the low in the low to mid-30s. Tomorrow, sprinkles, spotty light rain possible, otherwise mostly cloudy, mid-50s the highs. I'm Mike Mays in the North Carolina News Network Weather Center.
It's 8:30. This is WCAB, serving the foothills of the Carolinas from 100.9 FM, 590 AM. It's time now for the Word of Faith radio program. And with the program this morning, is Blake and Daniela Calder.
Good morning, Rutherford County. We're so excited to be here with you this morning. This is Blake and Daniela with the Word of Faith Fellowship radio program, and we have an encouraging message about the faithfulness of God that we want to share with you today. We all know in the day and hour we're living in, there could be opportunity to be fearful, to fret, and to take our eyes off of Jesus. But one thing we want to encourage you today is God is greater than anything we face, whether it be the pandemic, whether it be what's going on in the political world today, or something in your own personal life. We can trust God with our lives.
That's right. I mean, we're living in times of just unprecedented uncertainty. I mean, around the world, whether in our nation, with the pandemic, with the political turmoil, we know the devil wants us to take our eyes off of Jesus and look at the circumstances and what is going on around us. He wants us to doubt. He wants us to be afraid. He wants to bring hopelessness. But Jesus, God, is on his throne. He is God Almighty. He sits on his throne, and he knows what is going on. He sees everything that is going on. So there is no reason for us to fear. He is in control. He knew all of this was going to take place, and he knows what lies ahead for us. God has a book, and in that book, every single day of our lives were written. So God knew we were going to be going through these times, but he is right there to help us, to take us through. All we have to do is cry out to him, keep our eyes on him, have faith in him, and do not waver. We know that Jesus is coming back very soon. The prophecies are being fulfilled, and the Bible tells us that the devil knows his days are numbered. The devil knows he only has a very short time left. In Revelations 12:12, the Bible warns us. It says that the devil has come down to earth in fierce anger and great wrath. And he's going to try to seduce us. He's going to try to lead us astray and to make us turn our eyes away from Jesus. But we can trust in our God, and we can have faith in him. So now more than ever, it's a time for us to stay strong, to be encouraged, to be confident, keep our eyes on Jesus, not look at the circumstances around us, and not be afraid. It's a time to have faith in God, have faith in his word and what he promised us. God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And we're going to talk about a few examples in the Bible today of different people that went through different hard times in their lives, but they stood strong and they were not afraid. The circumstances didn't faze them. They were encouraged by the word of God. And God is a God of faithfulness. God is a God of rightness. He is true to his promises. And he promised us when we seek his face, when we turn to him, he will never leave us. He will never forsake us. All we have to do is cry out to him and trust him with our lives, and he will be our shield. I often think about how God created this whole universe by his mighty word of power. One word from God, and he created this universe. God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. In Hebrews 1:3, God tells us he still upholds, he maintains, he guides, he propels the universe by that same mighty word of power. So the word that God speaks to us, that word is powerful to keep us, to make us strong, and help us endure to the end. That is why we want to listen to what God has to say, not what the devil has to say. The devil is a liar. He's been a liar from the beginning. He's the father of lies. There's no truth in him. We want to hear what God has to say. Regardless of the circumstances, God is not defined by what happens. He is powerful. And we know the devil, he's our enemy. And he has been our enemy since the beginning of times. In Genesis, it started in Genesis, with Adam and Eve. He came subtly, and he will come at us subtly. The Bible tells us we will have trials, we will have hardships, but Jesus will help us walk through it. But if you look in Genesis 3, what happened? God had given Adam and Eve one word. And what was that word? Do not eat of this tree. But Eve was seduced by that devil when the devil came and said, did God really say? And that is how the devil can come at each one of us in our minds to make us doubt. Did God really speak that to you? Did God really say that to you? And what happened to Eve? She ate of that fruit. And the Bible tells us, it says, when she saw that the tree was good and pleasant and delightful to look at, what happened? She looked at the circumstances. She ate of that fruit. So we do not want to be like that. We want to stay strong. When God gives us his word, we want to stay strong, and we want to have that word implanted down deep in our hearts, that when the devil comes, we can stand strong and we can say, no, this is what God said. Just like the devil came at Jesus in Matthew 4 and he tempted him, but Jesus had the word of God in his heart and he was not led astray. And God, when he speaks to us, we have peace. When that devil comes at us, he brings doubt, he brings torment, he brings fear. But when God speaks to us, he brings us peace. It says in Isaiah 26:3, those that have their minds stayed on God, he will guard and keep them in perfect and constant peace. What is that perfect and constant peace? It's a peace that does not waver, that doesn't change. It's constant. It is there all the time. It is perfect. And God will keep us if we keep our mind on him. The Bible has so much to teach us, so many examples that we can learn from different people that regardless of the circumstances, they did not waver. They were not afraid. They did not get their eyes off of Jesus. And one example that I would like to share that stands out to me is Abraham. God called Abraham his friend. He walked with God. He walked with God habitually. And in Genesis 12, God told Abraham, leave your country and your family to a land that I will show you. God did not tell him where he was going. God just told him, leave and I will show you. And what did Abraham do when God called on him? Hebrews 11:8 tells us he obeyed. Why? Because he did not trouble his mind where he was to go. He had faith in God. He trusted God. That this God that spoke to him to leave, it was the God that was going to show him where he was going. He obeyed. He did not allow his mind to be troubled. And that is a choice we have to make. With everything that is going on, whether in our personal lives, whether in the world today, it is a choice we have to make not to allow our minds to be troubled, but to obey and listen to the word of God. And he trusted God. And then we see in Genesis 17, God promised Abraham a descendant. He told him, I will make you a great nation. But Abraham didn't have a son. Abraham was old. The Bible says he was about 100 years old. Sarah could not have children. But in Romans 5, verse 20, it says, no unbelief or distrust made Abraham waver or question the promise of God. But he grew strong and he was empowered by faith as he gave praise and glory to God, fully satisfied and assured that God was able and mighty to keep his word and do what he had promised. And that is how we're going to stand in these last days. We are assured that God is mighty. He is God Almighty, and he is able to keep his promises and his word to us. And then in Genesis 22, again, God tested Abraham's faith. God had just given him a son, Isaac. And in Verse 2, God told Abraham, he said, take now your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the region of Moriah and offer him there as a burnt offering upon one of the mountains of which I will tell you. Again, God told Abraham, do this and I will show you. So what did Abraham do? He got up early in the morning. He saddled his donkey. He took his young man, his son Isaac. He split the wood for the burnt offering, and he began the trip to the place where God had told him. And when they get there, Isaac asks Abraham, my father. And he said, here I am, my son. And Isaac said, see, here are the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for the sacrifice? And listen to what Abraham told his son. He said, my son, God himself will provide a lamb for the burnt offering. So the two went on together. And in Hebrews 11:19, it tells us, Abraham reasoned that God was able to even raise his son up from the dead if need be. He did not doubt God. He did not waver. He had faith. God promised him his son. Abraham knew that through his son, God was going to fulfill his promise of being a great nation. And when God asked him to sacrifice his son, his mind could have been troubled. He could have questioned. He could have doubted. But what did he do? No, he just obeyed. And when Isaac asked him, he said, God will provide. And then in verse 10, Abraham was about ready to slay his son. And the angel of the Lord, verse 11 says, called Abraham from heaven and said, Abraham. And he answered, here I am. And he said, do not lay your hand on the lad or do anything to him. For now I know that you fear and revere God, since you have not held back from me or begrudged giving me your son, your only son. And that is how we want to be. I mean, trials will come. God will allow tests to come to prove our hearts. But we can be assured that God will help us. God will never leave us. He will never forsake us as long as we keep our trust and our eyes on him and do not look at the circumstances. Do not be moved by the circumstances. God will be there to make sure his word and his promises are fulfilled in our lives.
And God has proven himself over and over through history. From the beginning of time until now, God is faithful. And I've recently been studying through various passages in the Bible, as Daniela was sharing some examples, showing the faithfulness of God. And I think it's so important for us to go back and recount what God has done so it can encourage us and it can build us up. When we're going through a difficult time in our life, when we're facing struggles or trials, and you might see a mountain in front of you, God wants us to know that he's bigger than that mountain. So today I want to share with you some more examples through the Bible, a lot of which were very familiar. But I want to encourage you through that God is faithful. And he's been faithful all throughout time, and he's going to be faithful to us if we trust him and we follow him. And beginning in Exodus 14, the crossing of the Red Sea, what happens? Pharaoh saw the Israelites were fleeing from him, and he said, let's pursue them. There were 600 chosen war chariots that Pharaoh sent after the Israelites. And what's in front of the Israelites? The Red Sea. So they have a huge army coming behind them. They have a Red Sea in front of them. And in the natural, looking at the circumstances, it didn't look too good. It looked like we're getting ready to be killed. Life's getting ready to be over for us. But what happens? It says in Exodus 14, verse 10, as Pharaoh approached, the Israelites looked up and they saw the Egyptians marching after them, and they were very frightened. And so the Israelites cried out to the Lord. And that's the key right there. When that fear comes, when we could have the opportunity to be frightened, we need to cry out to the Lord. He is the only one that can save us. And it goes on in verse 13 to say, then Moses said to the people, do not be afraid. Take your stand. Be firm and confident and undismayed, and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will accomplish for you today. Put yourself in Moses' shoes there. How could he be so sure that they didn't need to be afraid, that God was going to do a miracle for them? And I believe it's because Moses knew his God, and he knew that God was faithful. From the beginning of time, he had seen the faithfulness of God. And if we really have the knowledge of God's faithfulness worked in our hearts, then it doesn't matter if there's a Red Sea in front of us. We know that if God's telling us to be where we're at, and we're following him, and we're seeking him, and crying out to him, God will be right there with us to walk us through. And it goes on in verse 21, then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord swept the sea back by a strong east wind all that night, and turned the seabed into dry land. Since when did that happen before? They didn't have perhaps the knowledge of that this Red Sea was going to part. They just trusted God said he's going to take care of us. And that Red Sea parted for them. And then the Israelites passed on through that dry land, and the Egyptians were destroyed. That's the faithfulness of God. And it happened time and time again through history with the Israelites. Joshua 3 discusses the Jordan River being divided. And in Joshua 3, verse 16, the waters which were flowing down from above stopped. They rose up in one mass a great distance away, and those waters were completely cut off. God's plan was to take them across that river into the promised land. And it didn't matter what obstruction was in the way. God was greater than that. And I think one thing that is so powerful as well through the Word of God was where God told them to recount these things and to set it as a remembrance. And in Joshua 3, the Lord told Joshua to place 12 stones there as a remembrance, to tell their children, the Lord dried up the Red Sea and the Jordan for Israel to pass. And that's why he's coming to us again today saying, look at these examples, recount them, put them before you as an encouragement to know we don't face any mountain that's too big for God to bring us through. In Joshua 6, the passage of Jericho is so powerful because once again, there was another situation where it looked completely impossible. God said, I promise to give this city into your hands, to the Israelites. And he gave Joshua specific instructions of what to do. And the key to this deliverance of God's people and to them being able to capture Jericho was their obedience to God. And that's what we need to understand. The only way we will see the salvation of God and the only way we can be delivered from whatever it is that we face in our life is by turning to God, that obedience to God. And Joshua commanded the people, and they went around 7 days, and he told them exactly how to do it, and they followed exactly what God said. And then on the seventh day, he said, now it's time to shout. And they blew the trumpets, and we know what happened. Those walls fell down. Now, since when would walls of a city just fall down because of people marching around and blowing a trumpet or shouting? That was the hand of God. That was the power of God. And God was faithful to them once again. And then we can talk about David and Goliath in 1 Samuel 17. Once again, the Israelites are faced with what looked like a big army, a large army encamped against them. And there was a lot of them that took their eyes off of God. And they were fearful and they were discouraged. But God had his servant David there, a young lad who didn't have much experience. And that's what God wants out of us. We don't have to know how to do it. We don't have to understand all the details of everything. We just have to have a willing heart. God, we're going to follow you and we're going to trust you. And David is an example to us when all the armies were encamped around those Israelites. Those Philistines weren't too great for God. He knew from experience that God delivered him from the lion, God delivered him from the bear, and the giant wasn't too big. And there again, where was his faith in what God had done? The importance of keeping that in our remembrance, knowing that God is faithful. David went and he was determined, this Philistine, this giant Goliath is not going to defy the armies of God. He's not going to destroy the people of God. And he went, and with his faith in God, he killed that giant. And we can kill the giants in our lives. We can destroy whatever those things that may be coming our way that would produce fear, that would cause us to be discouraged. God's greater, and we can go to God and trust him, obey him, and he'll be faithful to us just like he was to David and those Israelites that day. And then we can go to Daniel. Multiple examples in Daniel about the faithfulness of God. First of all, in Daniel 3, it talks about the fiery furnace. And Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego would not bow down to the golden image which the king had set up because they knew in their heart that that's what God had commanded them. And they were going to keep the commandment of God. You can know in your heart, if you will keep the commandment of God and you will do what God has put in your heart, God will protect you. And they were determined, we're not going to bow down. It doesn't matter if you throw us in the fiery furnace. It doesn't matter if we're destroyed. We're going to do what God commanded us to do. And God was faithful to them. And the king said, behold, I see 4 men loose walking in the midst of the fire. They were not hurt, and the form of the 4th is like the son of the gods. And it goes on to say, the fire had no power upon their bodies, nor was the hair of their heads singed, neither were their garments scorched or changed in color or condition, nor had even the smell of smoke clung to them. And God will do that same thing for us with what we're walking through today. That smell of the smoke doesn't have to cling to us. We can be strong, and we can be confident, and we can be powerful in the Word of God that is true, and it is never changing. Daniel in the lion's den. Daniel was going to pray to his God because God commanded that, and he wasn't going to turn away from praying to his God. And the presidents, the satraps, they were jealous of Daniel, and they wanted to find a reason to bring accusation against him. And so they did. And they came to the king and said, King, make this law. And things didn't look good. Now the king signed this into law. You can't pray to anyone but me. You can't come to anyone except to the king for 30 days or you'll be cast into the den of lions. I mean, that's the equivalent to if you pray to God, you're going to be killed. That's what it looked like to Daniel. But he wasn't dismayed. He was determined, I'm going to do the same thing I've done from the very beginning. I'm going to obey my God. I'm going to pray to my God. I trust in my God greater than any circumstance that I may face in my life. And we know what happened. He was cast into that den of lions, and God shut those lions' mouths and protected Daniel because Daniel was faithful to God. And from here, even in the New Testament, there's so many different examples, a lot of which we don't have time to go into today, but that to talk about the faithfulness of God. In Matthew 14, the 5,000 were fed, and Jesus had commanded his disciples, feed the people. Well, they looked at the circumstances. How can we feed 5,000 men? And that didn't even count the men and the women and the children. But God said, feed them. I'll take care of it. And then he broke the bread, and they handed out the loaves and the fish, and it was multiplied, and it fed all of those people. No matter what the circumstances looked like, they trusted in the Word of God. And I think Daniela wanted to share about when Peter took his eyes off of Jesus, what happened.
Right after the 5,000 were fed, Jesus told his disciples to get in the boat and to go to the other side while he went up to the mountain and he was praying. And as the disciples were going to the other side, a storm came. The trials came, the tribulations came, and they did not stay strong. They got afraid. The boat was about to sink. The winds were against them. They were being tossed by the waves. And so Jesus came to his disciples walking on the sea. And at first, they were so frightened, they could not even recognize that it was Jesus because they had gotten their eyes off of Jesus. They had doubted the Word of God that God told them, go to the other side. If God tells us to go to the other side, he will help us. It doesn't matter what storm comes halfway there. He will make sure we get to the other side. But those disciples, when they took their eyes off of Jesus, they got afraid. And when Jesus saw them, he said, don't be afraid. Take courage. It's me. And Peter said, Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water. So Jesus told him, come. So Peter got out of the boat and he walked on the water and he came toward Jesus. But look at what happened. Verse 30 tells us, when he perceived and he felt the strong wind, he was frightened and he began to sink. And he cried out, Lord, save me from death. And what happened? Jesus instantly reached out his hand and caught him and held him and said, "O you of little faith, why did you doubt?" What happened to Peter? He looked at those circumstances and he got afraid. He saw the wind, he saw the waves, he was already walking on the water. But when he perceived what was happening around him and he took his eyes off of Jesus, he became afraid, and that's when he began to sink. But Peter also started crying out, Jesus, save me. And that's what we do. When we get our eyes off of Jesus, we immediately turn to Jesus. Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, help me and save me. And he will be right there. So we do not want to be like Peter, where we can turn our eyes away from Jesus so quickly and be afraid. I mean, Jesus had just performed the miracle of the 5,000 being fed. We don't want to forget what God does for us. Every single one of us, God has performed miracles in our lives, and we never want to forget what God has done for us.
And that is exactly right. I know all throughout my life I've seen the faithfulness of God. No matter what mountain I've faced, no matter what I've come through, I've always seen that God will bring you through when you trust him with your life. And in Hebrews 6, verse 18, it says, so that by two unchangeable things, his promise and his oath, in which it is impossible for God to lie, we who have fled to him for refuge would have strong encouragement and indwelling strength to hold tightly to the hope that is set before us. And God will give us that strength to hold tightly to the hope that is set before us. It's impossible for God to lie. His faithfulness has been from day one all the way up until now. And in Hebrews 13:8, it says Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever. So God will do that for you just like he's done all throughout time. And I encourage you to put your trust in Jesus today and know that he's faithful. And at this time, we want to sing a song for you.
I will sing praises to the Lord with all my heart. I will sing glorious praises to your name. I will rejoice and exalt in you, my Lord. Yesterday, today, forever, you're the same. Troubles come, you're my hiding place. Oh, Most High, those who know you trust you. You will not forsake the ones who seek your face. I will sing praises to the Lord with all my heart. I will sing glorious praises to your name. I will rejoice and exalt in you, my Lord. Yesterday, today, forever, you're the same. Oh, Most High, you are my stronghold when troubles come. You're my hiding place. Oh, Most High, those who know you trust you. You will not forsake the ones. You will not forsake the ones. You will not forsake the ones who seek your face. Oh, Most High, you are my stronghold when troubles come. You're my hiding place. Oh, Most High, those who know you trust you. You will not forsake the ones. You will not forsake the ones. You will not forsake the ones who seek your face.
And as the song just said, we just sang, God is our stronghold. He is our hiding place when troubles come. In John 16:33, Jesus told us, you will have tribulations, you will have trials in the world, you will have distresses, you will have frustrations, but he encourages us, be of good cheer, take courage, be confident, certain, for I have overcome the world. I have deprived it of power to harm you, and I have conquered it for you. Isn't that good news? God has overcome the world. Jesus overcame the world when he died on that cross for us, and that veil ripped in two, and now we can just come to Jesus when we need him, keeping our eyes on Jesus, Come to the throne of grace, and he will be there to help us. He will never leave us, and he will never forsake us. No matter what the circumstances are, they do not limit God. They have never limited his power. It has been so good to be here with you today. We are on this program on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 8:30 to 9. And you can go to wordoffaithfellowship.org and look at previous radio programs. Thank you, and have a good day.
Get your message to the thousands. Call the WCAB Sales Department today at 287-3356.
I'm Dave Packer. Hours from now, the inauguration of Joe Biden, President-elect, arriving at St. Matthew's Cathedral minutes ago in Washington for services before he takes office. President Trump opting not to attend the inauguration, leaving the White House for the last time as president in the last hour, calling being the president